Hey, what's up guys? Today in this video we are going to create an admin screen API so that we can show all the unpublished videos which are there in the application. So the idea is that the admin will look at this list of videos and he will approve it. Once the videos are approved, it will be visible on the front end, right? That's the whole plan. So what are the things which I have done to get this functionality? So I have around 10 files to go through. Let's see what we have done so far. So the first thing which I have done is in the user table, I have added a column which is role. I'm not expecting a user to have multiple roles, and hence I decided to keep this in the user table. Let's keep things simple. I could have done a user underscore roles and then a roles table as well, but that's only required if I have one user with multiple roles. Okay, so yes, this is that. It's an enum field where I have right now only these two variables, or rather two values possible. Okay, with that done, I made a change in the user model as well. Sorry, the video model as well. I have this scope as unpublished because we wanted to have the unpublished videos as well, right? So I wanted to have that query in place. Then one quick change which I had to do was, because our user factory had this definitions, I added one more definition which is admin, where I'm setting the role as admin, but the default one is authenticated. So my take here is, whenever you are doing these kind of modifications, always keep the default value as something which is the safest option. So for example, I'm not keeping the default value as admin. I'm keeping the default value as authenticated user because they can register, right? So if a user is created, then it will have the minimum permissions in the application, not something which is elevated. So now that we have a role, we have video which is unpublished, someone needs to view it, I have to control the behavior. And so what I did was added this admin user middleware. Okay, you can just create a new middleware using the PHP artisan make middleware command, and you can get this kind of a class file. Now, how does a middleware work? Inside the handle request, if we return this, okay, then what will happen is the middleware will basically pass the request to the next middleware pipeline. Okay, and if the middleware sequence has ended, then it will pass it to the controller. That's the whole idea, right? So you interject or you intervene in the request life cycle. You run this code which we have in here. If we have certain conditions where the middleware detects that, okay, this request should not proceed, then we return back the request, and if it can proceed, then it basically runs next with the request. Okay, that's how things work. So what have we done in the middleware? We are looking for the user from the database. We are checking whether the user's role is admin or not. I have added this as a query. I think it will be available in the request, but I still did it because I wanted to ensure that when the request is coming, at that point I wanted to ensure that the user has those privileges. Okay, that's the only thing. The message is coming from a translation function, so that we have the ability to translate it into any other language if you want to, and hence this, if you are aware of it, then inside resources language en I have this key, and that's how the language will pick this value and show it to the user. By the way, the middleware, if it fails, right, I am sending a 401 status code. All right, so with the middleware done, I think the next obvious thing is, inside our API I created a route group. Okay, so now this route group is inside my main route group, which says that it needs to run a middleware which is for authentication through Sanctum. Okay, so the first middleware will be this, and for this URLs there is one more middleware which I am firing, which is admin. Okay, the prefix to this routes are admin. Now how do we know that the middleware which we just created, which is auth user middleware, is named as admin? Okay, so that question is answered by the kernel file which is inside app http. This keeps a track of all the middlewares which are inside our application, which are running one after the other. So for example, these are the middlewares which are going to run on every request. This is our global, array of middlewares which are being executed. Okay, now these are some of the middleware which are executed only during the web requests, means these are part of the web.php routes, and hence you can see that the verify CSRF token is in the web group. These are only for the API. Now I haven't kept my middleware in the API, but rather this is kind of naming your middleware so that you can reference it inside the API as we did. Okay, and here I have added an alias which is admin, and I've said that this is the class file which has the middleware data. Okay, so let's get back to our api.php. Where is my api.php? In here. So I have a URL which is video list unpublished. Okay, it will form a URL with /admin /video list and unpublished because of this prefix. I have a controller, admin video controller. Okay, the function name is unpublished. Now I am querying the model with an scoped, as I showed you, right? We have a query, scoped query, which is scope unpublished. Okay, where is published is 0. So that's how I am picking the videos which are in unpublished mode, and I'm returning them back with a 200 status code. Pretty straightforward. This is very similar to how we were showing the list of published videos to the end user, right? And I think I have pretty much covered whatever was the code written to have the listing API for the admin. So let's see. Yes, we have migrations. Okay, then I have api.php where we added the middleware and the new route. Auth.php is the language file where we have the message. Kernel is where I have added the middleware. Okay, test case, I'll come to that. Video factory, we created a new definition as I showed you, right? So this is admin variant where the state should be role admin. Then we make this new, we add this new scope which is unpublished. Then we have middleware which we showed, video controller, and now let's come to our tests. So I'll close all of this. Okay, so I'll come to this first test after I show you this thing. So what I have done here, I have created factory with 2 unpublished videos and 2 published videos. Then I created an admin user where the user factory says it's an admin. Okay, because you need to understand that in the api.php I did mention the middleware as admin. So I created a user which is which has the role of admin. Then we do acting as this new admin user. I make a GET request to this route. I assert I get a 200 status code, and then I assert that I have 2 items inside the data property. We are talking about a data property because we have a paginated object. Okay, and then I'm also checking whether the first element in the data, right, is published equals 0 or not, and then the etc. Okay, so that's how I am able to confirm that the JSON which is coming is following the logic, which is these are unpublished videos, and I'm also checking the key and the count. Okay, so This is how I can ensure that it only sends unpublished videos. But then there was one more thing which I wanted to test, which is that this URL should be available only to admins. Now, this is where, because I have written my custom middleware, I feel it is important to do that test. And because these are admin URLs, it really makes sense to be safe and have a test around it. Okay, so what I was doing was basically I created a user which is a normal user, which means authenticated, right? If you remember, the factory's default is an authenticated user. And then acting as that user, I make an API call, and then I'm expecting a 401. This is because when this request goes to the middleware, which is this, it will find that the user role is not admin, and hence it should return a 401. That's what we have asserted here. And what I did was I created that function and I made it reusable by adding it to the test case class so that it is available to all the test cases which I write. And wherever I need to do this check, I will call this function and it will do its job. That's what I felt is a nice way to do add some reusability. I could have created a trait, but I think this is fine for now. But yes, that's how we test these two scenarios of our new API for the admin to see all the unpublished videos. So thanks for watching, guys. If you like this video, do click on the thumbs up icon and don't forget to subscribe to my channel.